We're going to continue right where we left off from the last video in our 1A quarterly sales document. So if you already closed it out, go ahead and reopen it. In column B and in row 8, so we're in cell B8, we're going to create a formula to calculate the total made in April. So anytime you do a formula in Excel, you start with an equal sign. This is a little different from math where you put the equals, in the middle of your equation. So what we're doing now is we're generating one part of the equation. So we're going to say this is going to be equal to all of these things above it added together. So click in cell B4, and you see how it shows up right there, so that means that we did right. And plus, so actually type in the plus sign, and click in cell B5, plus sign B6, plus sign B7. You can also just type those numbers in, but you can also click on them too. And then once that's done, you can press enter, and this should be the result that you get. So if you want this to be in money format, if you look up in it says like numbers group up here, there is a decimal increase right there. So if you click this decimal, it'll make it 2 decimal places. Now there's 2 other ways to do the sum function. So the one way is to go through and add all the things you want to add up together, like we have here. You see it in our formula bar. The other way is you can actually put in a formula using a formula function. So type equals into cell C8 and type the word sum. So if you hover over sum here, it says add all the numbers in a range of cells. So that's exactly what we want to do. So double click sum. And then it tells you in the quick tools right here what you need. So we just need numbers. So if you click in cell C4 and select all the way down through C7, put an end parenthesis and press enter, also sum that formula. And the last way to sum a formula is if you look all the way in the far right side in the editing group right here, there's a button up here called auto sum. So if you click auto sum, it automatically figures out where you want to sum from, and then you just press enter and it does it for you. So instead of putting in sums for every single thing, you can also copy formulas that put in relative cell references. So like in here, these are all cell references in the formula because you're referencing cell B4, cell B5. So you're actually using other cells to create your formulas. So in cell E3, I want you to type in total. So now we're going to calculate the total of each item. So do equals sum, open parenthesis, and then select E4 through D4 and close the parenthesis. And then hit the checkbox up here on the formula bar instead of pressing enter, because this keeps it the same cell. So it keeps this the active cell. Now what we're going to do is you see our little friend, the fill handle. Click on that and drag it all the way down and let go. So now we've created sums for all of them. So if you double click on that cell, it shows you what's selected for it. So whenever you drag something down, it changes the cell reference used based on the row it's in. So this looks a little boring. Oh no, I clicked in a different cell and it went in there. So all you need to do to fix something if you accidentally had a formula selected is hit the escape button and it goes back. But we're going to go over a little formatting because this is super boring looking. So what I want you to do is select A1 through F1, and up here in our alignment group, click on merge and center. So that basically takes that one cell and puts it over everything else. We're going to do the same thing for A2 through F2. So select it and then click merge and center. Now if I'd selected all of those together, it would have merged those 2 rows and all those columns. So we don't want that. We want those 2 separate lines. So what I want you to do is select your A1 cell, and under styles, I want you to pick any color you like. You may have different colors than I do. That's okay. Whichever color floats your boat, go ahead and pick that. And then I want you to go back in there, and we're going to make this the title style. Do the same thing with A2. Change the color down here to whatever you would like it to be. And then we're going to make this the heading 1 style. So any Excel document you turn into me, I don't want just black and white. Make sure it's interesting to look at. Make sure it's not atrocious to look at with the color choices made, but make sure it's at least interesting. So I want you to select 2 non-adjacent cells. So the way you select non-adjacent things is you select B3 through E3. It can be any cell group, but for this one, this is it. And press and hold Control on your keyboard while you select A4 through A8. So then those 2 non-adjacent ranges are selected, and I want you to make them heading 4. Now we're going to format these numbers because it's money, and it doesn't really look like money. It's kind of hard to read because we're using commas. So select B4 through E4, and then we're going to select the non-adjacent range, B8 through E8 by pressing and holding Control. And in the number group right here, this is called the accounting number format. So go ahead and click that $ right there, and it should automatically adjust your column width. If it did not, it might look like that. All those pound signs or hashtags, if you will, means is that your column is not wide enough. So if you go in between B and C and double click, it automatically makes them the correct width. I only want the $ on the top and the bottom. So the rest of these, B5 through E7, we're going to apply the comma style formatting. So go ahead and click comma style, and then it automatically puts the commas in there and makes it a little bit easier to read. Now I want you to select just B8 through E8, and under our styles group, I want you to apply the total style. So that way we know that those are the big numbers that we need to look at. Now I want you guys to change the theme. So go to Page Layout on the ribbon, and on the far left there's themes. So if you hover over them, they put different cell formatting, different color styles, all those different things in there. So pick whichever one you like aside from Office. I kind of like this one. Go ahead and click Save, and you are ready to move on to video number 3.